are live with the Reason Show. Religiously educated atheists, secularists, and other non-theists. Welcome back to another amazing episode with me, the heartthrob Aeolus, your favorite atheist. We also got Dita Lucum in the house, the one with the voice that makes everyone moist. Ooh! And we got the Godless engineer, the brains behind this fantastical operation that we call live Reason. With the Woo! So now that we got that out the way, we're going to go ahead and get into some new science this week. Dita! I'm a little too hyped up tonight.
You're way too happy. I'm dying over here. So we all know the Hubble telescope, an international super telescope up in space. It's able to see celestial bodies so far away that our naked eye couldn't even conceive of seeing something like that. Well, in 2018, NASA, which proves once again how freaking useful it is, plans on launching the James Webb Space Telescope in coordination with the European Space Agency and the Canadian Space Agency. This telescope, I forget the actual number, but it's like immensely better than the Hubble telescope. Not only with its ability to see like with optical, like visible light, but it's also able to see in the infrared, which is going to be able to see things that we never were able to see with the Hubble telescope at all. It has a 6.5 meter primary mirror. It plans to be launched a Super 5 rocket thing called the Ariane? That's a weird name. Wait, Ariane. Is that? I don't know how to pronounce words. So it's going to be... Yeah. Whatever. It's French or something. It's going to be launched from French Guiana. I can't pronounce words today. Someone pronounce words for me. French Guiana.
GE people are commenting saying they can't hear you.
Wait, people can't hear me?
No, they can hear you. They can't hear GE.
Oh, well, then I'll keep talking and pretending I know everything I'm talking about. So anyway, the point about this is it's a fantastic new device. It's able to see significantly farther with significantly more accuracy in significantly larger spectrum of light. And that's just freaking fantastic. It has 4 different instruments on it, cameras and spectrometers, so it's going to be able to measure all sorts of stuff. Its mirrors are made of a super lightweight beryllium. And it has a tennis court-sized 5-layer sun shield that attenuates heat from the sun more than 1 million times. Not entirely sure what that means, but it sounds impressive. What was it? It has programmable micro-shutters in one of its instruments, the NIRS PEC, or I guess the NIR spec, can observe 100 objects simultaneously. Also is a cryocooler, but that's more support material. But anyway, this thing is fantastic. It's gigantic. It's beautiful. And it just proves more and more that with the appallingly little funding NASA is able to get, it's still able to help produce fantastic new devices that will further our understanding of the universe in ways we can't even imagine now. So that was my gargled, horrible, inability to pronounce words explanation. Questions?
I got lots of questions. But go ahead, G. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's the telescope will be launched on the Ariane 5 rocket from French Guiana in October.
Guyana. That's how you pronounce them 2 words.
Yeah. But yeah, so it'll be launched then. I think that this is awesome. I think any kind of space telescope, being launched into orbit is a great thing because, I mean, that's the only way that we know more about our universe, about everything, and just generally, how we attain knowledge. So I think that it's awesome that this is being done.
So for reference, the main mirror on the Hubble telescope is 2.4 meters. This new one is 6.5.
Ooh, girl.
Like this is just incredible.
Yeah,
It's
Talk
also
about
made of like a whole bunch of intersecting plates so that it can be focused, and it's really
okay, look,
really cool design.
Yeah, I have to point this out though. It's in the shape of a triangle. Illuminati. It's an Illuminati
And now,
plot.
guys, now the Illuminati is going to always be looking over us.
No. Well, they might use it for surveillance, but I really think that this is like just a really exact sniper rifle where they can kill anybody, anywhere, anytime that they want to. Doesn't matter if they're like in a bunker 6 miles underneath the earth; they're going to be able to get them.
Yep.
Seems legit.
Giant laser is what I'm thinking.
Oh yes, definitely.
I mean, they've already got reptiles walking amongst us, so you know, this is the next stage of the Illuminati New World Order.
Exactly. I mean, that's really the only explanation for it. That and the fact that, we've got a flat Earth going for us. I mean, come on, guys. You're not really buying into this whole learning stuff, are you?
Do you ever sit and like actually think that there are people that have these conversations and are actually serious?
No, wait, because I ran into a flat earther like 2 weeks ago, yo, and he was off his fucking rocker, man. I mean, he was off of it. It's giving me a headache now just thinking about it. It's fucking insane, man. I've never seen anything like this shit. You really got to deny everything that there is in order to acknowledge a flat Earth. But we're getting totally sidetracked here. If you guys want to give your final thoughts on science.
It's spectacular.
My final thought is that this is just awesome. My joking aside, I mean, this is just fantastic to hear. I love the fact that we're still trying to explore space in any kind of way that we can, and that's pretty much it.
It's 2 to almost 3 times as good as the previous one. I know, like, the numbers it won't really like make sense. Like, you can't really scale like that, but it has better systems, can see more amount of light, like literally a larger spectrum of light, and the mirror is just gigantic, so it can pick up the faintest bit of nothing. It's just I can't wait for it to go up, because the first things it sees, I'm going to be like in front of my computer staring at it, just like, show me the universe, because it can do that.
I think it's pretty phenomenal that NASA is able to put things like this together and to constantly innovate and keep people interested in exploring the cosmos and understanding our universe, especially with the budget limitations that they have. I mean, we spend, like, in foreign aid and in military operations the whole NASA budget in like one day. I mean, just imagine if we were applying that money to, making the world a better place, or, exploring space. A man can have a dream, right? I usually say a girl can dream. I always say a girl can dream, but all of our viewers aren't really ready for that just yet. So a man can dream, and I think this is fantastic.
Let's see,
and I still wonder why people can still just look at this and be like, yeah, there's no wonder and mystery in the world. It's all just garbage. We have to believe in a religion. That's the only way to bring mystery and wonder in life. It's like, are you kidding? I can't properly word how amazing this is going to be in the next couple of years. We will see things that we have never conceived of before.
I did want to mention one thing, though. Like, this is something that kills me, okay? Like, they've said that we just talked about this on the last show. We talked about how the solar flare or whatever there's like a 10% chance it's going to happen and like knock out communications, right? And how Congress is all over this, over a 10% chance that this might happen. Yet we've got climate change, which is a 100% chance that this shit is going to fuck our world up. And they're just like, I don't believe that shit, yo. But that solar flare shit, yeah, that's going to happen. It's sad that the proper, excuse me. It's sad that the proper understanding is not had here, and that priority is not given to the things that need to be given to. But like I said, I'm still happy that we're able to do anything at all with such a restricted NASA budget.
I would like to point out one comment by Jacob Luce. Said maybe it will find God. How awesome would it be that like the first pictures to come back from this are like God sitting at a poker table being all mad because he lost again and he's got to give up the earth to the devil or something. I mean, I think that would just be pretty funny.
I don't even know what I'd say. It would just be like, there is actually a dude floating through space on a poker table. Like an average-sized dude. We're not making this up. We actually see him.
Yeah.
It's just like...
I would want to ask him, like, hey, dude, how are you omnipotent and omniscient and you still keep losing? Like, what the... Can you explain this to me? Are you really as dumb as the humans you created?
The omniscience thing was the one that was a lie. He's actually been trying to get to Earth, but it's just really, really far away.
He's still bound by the speed of light. It turns out that the universe is expanding faster than he can get to us.
Yeah.
It's like, damn it, I knew I forgot. I took way too much of my superpower to create life in the universe.
Well, let's go ahead and move on. Aeolus, did you get in your final thoughts about the telescope?
Yeah, that was good. I'm good with it.
Okay. All right. So now for the it's a little bit much harder of a subject, and that would be the shooting at Planned Parenthood that occurred. As we all know, an asshole came in and he shot up a Planned Parenthood in Colorado Springs. He went in there, and it's reported that his words as he was getting, as he was being detained and arrested, he said, "No more baby parts," as what's being reported right now as what he's saying. So it's pretty obvious that this guy was trying to enact some kind of political change or some kind of societal change using violence. That's why this particular episode is labeled as Christian terrorism at Planned Parenthood, because that's exactly, by definition, what it was. He was using terror, he was using violence in order to enact some kind of change. And the change that he wants to enact is to stop Planned Parenthood from apparently selling baby parts and making a profit off of it, or to stop abortion in general. We're not exactly sure on his exact motives. Now, I'm not going to use this guy's name here. We'll refer to him as Bambi from now on. Okay, so Bambi here shot up 2 people, killed them, along with a police officer. And we've heard reports of, the third victim here of the Planned Parenthood was a 36-year-old mother of 2. She was there in support of another person, and she died for it. He went in and he shot up people. He wounded most people, but he did kill this particular woman along with another civilian and a police officer. So, and it's been reported that apparently Nancy Kerrigan knew the policeman was killed. I don't know if you remember who Nancy Kerrigan was, but
I'm gonna hit her with that pipe. Call that Nancy Kerrigan.
But yeah, so there have been some disturbing tweets on Twitter about it, and we'll get to those in a minute. But I would love to hear you guys, whoever wants to go first. What are your first initial reactions, to this news, to the shooting, and what are your thoughts in general?
Dieter,
Do you want to go?
go ahead.
We're both way too polite. I'll start talking then. Once Facebook stops beeping. Alright, so I'm not terribly surprised, but I really wish that I was. Because this has happened before. Like, there was a while ago, it was like a lot of abortion clinics were being bombed, or the or not a lot, but a few abortion clinics are being bombed. There were, and a bunch of doctors are being constantly harassed. I think someone was killed at some point. It's a long, violent, unpleasant history. The relationship between United States Christian demographic, some group within Christianity, and abortion. But this entire thing is predicated on an unending supply of misinformation. I don't remember anyone's name, so forgive me. But it's like I saw earlier today there was a doctor who completely made up the story of the Planned Parenthood selling body parts. Like, it was completely made up. It had nothing to do with Planned Parenthood. It had, well, I guess it didn't have nothing to do with Planned Parenthood, but it was like you were allowed to donate like cells of an aborted fetus to research. And because of that, people extrapolated that there was a huge farming body parts epidemic in this country, where there isn't. It's basically making something decent come out of a terrible situation. But all of that aside, there was also a lot of rhetoric a while ago about all abortions are this horrific practice of sawing off limbs and removing them from a pregnant woman, because that's how all abortions are performed, even though the vast majority happen in the first trimester, where very little development is done, and the fetus is barely even a fetus. And the ones that happen in the second and third trimester, which are much less common, basically progressively less common, those are done, I think in the second, it's a vacuum process. The cervix is dilated and it sucks out whatever was in there. It's more complicated than that. But then when the fetus is significantly deformed or there's some other problem or threatens the life of the mother, that's when the very late term abortions happen. That's it. Okay? That being said, Planned Parenthood, I think it's still between like 8 and 12% of their money actually goes to abortions, and that's not even funded by taxes.
No, it's 3%.
It's less than that. It's 3%.
I could have sworn it was higher. Either way. But yeah, so everything about this is wrong. But the problem that I have with this is it's not terribly surprising. Because when you force rhetoric down somebody's throat for so long, and they're a particular brand of either incredibly gullible, or really suggestible, or honestly have some mental problems, then that kind of rhetoric can fuel them to do some pretty awful things. I actually agree. I haven't seen it yet, but I would be curious to see which groups really start speaking out against this. Because obviously the entire secular community on it instantly. But I saw a lot of rhetoric from like moderate Muslim : so where are the moderate Christians decrying the domestic terrorism? We're going to get more into that in the rest of the show. But good question. I'd like to see a lot more people that share this belief system telling everyone that either this is crazy, we don't support this, but I don't know, that doesn't seem to be the dialogue we're having right now.
Well, I think we should do the same thing they did to the Muslims, which was totally unfair. Let's go down to every local church we can and say, we need you to come out right now and say you don't support this behavior. And go to every Christian we know.
Happening?
Do you or do you not support this behavior? But anyway,
Well, yeah,
to kind of, because you really, I was going to say, because Dieter really kind of laid it all out there. I was basically going to hop on his back here and just say that ignorance is the real issue. Because if people really knew what Planned Parenthood does, if they really had a working knowledge of the different things that they do for men and women to help prevent not just unwanted pregnancies, but to prevent, they do a lot of screenings for STDs, cancer screenings. It's women's health, but they also have things for men for your health as well. So I think that ignorance is the big thing here. And when you combine that with religious dogma and other rhetoric, you end up with a recipe for disaster. we need to constantly, like, I try to post like weekly on all of the good things that Planned Parenthood does, how many abortions they actually prevent by providing birth control to people. And then even more than that, like, there's so many statistics out there that show, like, it's not just people who are just getting pregnant and want to get an abortion. These are people who are parents already. Most of them already have kids. A large percentage of them were on birth control or they were using contraceptives, and somehow they ended up getting pregnant anyway because, hey, sperm are some motherfuckers, okay? They swim. There's some swimming bastards, okay? But anyway, what I'm saying is ignorance is the biggest problem here. We need to educate people. We need to explain what Planned Parenthood does. We need to explain how it's beneficial to everyone by having it in place. Even people that are not directly affected by it, by being indirectly affected by it, such as sex education and the provisions that they give, such as birth control and contraceptives, STD screenings, cancer screenings, health checks. I don't even know all of the things they do. There's just so many things that they do that are beneficial. The more that we educate people on that, the less that we will have these type of issues. And I think that we shouldn't be surprised that there is Christian terrorism or terrorism on the home front. Because I know you guys saw, like, with the refugee crisis, people are so terrified that these refugees are going to be extremists that, you know, bomb or support a terrorist attack, or they are a suicide bomber. And it's just so ridiculous because the likelihood of that happening is so low that you could barely see it if it was on a chart. But the likelihood of these type of things happening, Christian terrorism happening, is highly likely. And that's something that we also need to push as well. So bash ignorance and educate people.
I would say that, like, Christian terrorism, since we're apparently seamlessly transferring to that subject, I don't think it's like it's probably more likely, but that doesn't mean it's like going to happen all the time. I think the thing that we might need to be much more worried about is just the slowly changing just legal precedent. Like, what rights can be taken away, what like groups have special interest in various points in politics. Those are the things we have to be extremely aware of, especially in the secular community. But we have watchdog groups. They're on it.
Yeah, and
he hasn't given his opinion.
Yeah,
we're waiting on that.
Well, for me personally, you know, these I do feel that this is a Christian terrorist act. You know, there's been a lot of focus here lately on Muslims being terrorists, and it's even gone so far as to people protesting outside of local mosques. And decrying this Islamization of America, saying that apparently the Muslims are coming in and they're taking over and they're going to turn us into an Islamic nation rather than a Christian nation. You know, when Moses shout out democracy as well as wrote the Constitution at the same time, right before he parted the Red Sea, of course. You know, so apparently, you know, that's where these people are coming from, and this guy definitely had a political thing in mind with attacking Planned Parenthood. I think that it was the reason why it was a Planned Parenthood was because of the videos that were released by the people on that. I forget the YouTube channel name, but you know, they were putting out these videos, highly edited videos of secret meetings with these Planned Parenthood representatives that were supposedly trying to sell baby parts for money, and it's just it's so sad. It's like Ayla said, ignorance is the problem here, because you've got ignorant people with enough reach to get to the radicals in any kind of group, and they're putting out false information to these ignorant people who don't bother researching. They just believe what they're told because that's what they've been, that's what they've been programmed to do their entire life, because they've been stuck in church and told, listen to me, this is how you read it, this is how you're supposed to interpret this particular passage. No, it doesn't mean you're supposed to take slaves. It means, let's move on to the next topic. And so what you really have here is ignorance that basically got a gun and was pointed in a direction, and that direction happened to be Planned Parenthood and those inside. And I think that it's horrible. I also think that it's horrible the reaction of these Christians that we want to basically deny or put down this particular act as being wrong or non-Christian or whatnot. And here in a minute, we're actually going to get into those tweets because they're particularly horrible in my opinion. I tried to make a video on it, and I honestly couldn't do it without going into a rage. Just because of how deplorable these people are. And it really does amaze me. Like, with the fact that these people say that you need God in order to have morality, but yet their actions indicate that they actually don't have any kind of semblance of morality, at least not the kind of morality that is indicative of a civilized society. And I really think that that's sad, that religion, maybe it's not religion that has done this to them, but it's definitely religion that has reinforced these ideas in these people. So those are my two initial thoughts on the situation in general.
I can pretty much second both of you guys on this.
Well, and just to explain the little Peter Griffin meme on the screen real quick, this was something that was shared by the Friendly Atheist and one of my admins, Caitlin. She actually shared this on the page, and it basically it's pointing out how when a white person does these kind of things, they're just mentally challenged, like there's something mentally wrong with them. But then if they're a certain color, they're terrorists, and it's easily labeled as a terrorist act. And I think that that's a pretty big thing to point out in this situation, that this guy, while he probably is mentally deranged or handicapped or some kind of thing, while he is that, he is also a terrorist because he was using violence in order to enact some kind of change. And that change is about abortion.
Well, I mean, you have to ask the
question. We got Caitlin Chloe in the comments section. She said, "Aeolus, what the fuck, man? Listen, I was stalking that mosquito for a minute, yo. He was flying around. I had to get him."
I'm so proud of you.
Let's see.
Pat on the back. Evolution, yo.
Let's see. Do we want to? What are you guys' thoughts on that exactly? Before we move on to the actual tweets, what are your thoughts on people calling, like when a Christian or just I hate to bring race into it, but when a white person goes and does these kind of things, he's just labeled as mentally deranged or something mentally wrong with him. But then other colors of people are easily labeled terrorists. I mean, do you think that that's an accurate depiction of how these things play out, or do you think that that's false?
I think it's pretty accurate. I also think that it's not just because it's easy to say that, oh, he's white, so okay, he's just mentally disturbed. And if someone is brown or a variation of brown, then they're a terrorist. I think that it's not only white people that play into this, but other people as well. Because usually in society, we look at white people and we see, okay, they don't really have a reason to be terrorists. They're not oppressed. They don't have the issues that the minorities have. And so I have actually heard a lot of minorities, friends, my family members, and things like that. Even they say that, okay, this white guy just shot up a movie theater, he must be mentally disturbed. But I think that the problem is that when people do this, they're all fucking mentally disturbed. Okay, let's make this clear. If you go into any place and start killing people, you're fucking mentally disturbed. You are also a terrorist. So just let's make that clear.
What definition of terrorist are we going with right now?
Well, let's hold on. Let me look up the formal definition.
The definition I normally run with is to do some kind of act of violence or some kind of other dramatic spectacle for the purpose of inducing fear in a society.
Let's go with that. good.
no. There's that, but it's also with
Or
the
to
fact,
disable a community. It's some of that also.
What if you're
right.
not inducing fear, though? What if you're actually oppressed and you're trying to, I guess, fight back? Is that
That's
still
why I
terrorism?
asked, because I think there's a legal definition of terrorism.
Well, yeah. A terrorist, by definition, is a person who uses terrorism in the pursuit of political aims. So
The use of violence and intimidation in pursuit of political aims.
yeah.
There
So
you
that's why if you're just like a legit mentally deranged person that's going on a spree killing or something like that, that's not terrorism. Just because he's causing terror, it has to have that political aspect to it. Like they have to use it in order to advance their own political position.
I think that the
I
terrorism
could definitely
doesn't
see it
always
falling.
have to be a political position, though. It doesn't always have to have a political motivation.
I think it does be considered terrorism. Otherwise, it's just horrific, unnecessary violence.
Well,
Like I think this guy would qualify as a terrorist. I agree with that because he clearly has a political end. He is against the concept of Planned Parenthood and abortion. And the way that he wants to What the hell are you doing? The way that he tried to fulfill that was by inciting incredible amount of fear and intimidation through action to try to achieve that end. And by saying no more baby parts, I think he thought he succeeded.
I mean, I don't think we need to dwell too much on the definition. I think that you can look at an incident and basically say whether it was a terrorist action or not. Regardless, as we've already said, that if you do it, you're definitely mentally disturbed. So it shouldn't just be like that, like the image that you have pulled up here. You know, if you're pink, white, or what is that other color there? Like basically like a beige, you're
yeah.
mentally disturbed. No, you're mentally
It's a
disturbed.
progression of beige colors.
You're mentally disturbed no matter what, okay? Because a normal,
I agree.
empathetic human being does not do things like this, man. And I think that this is where atheism comes in, okay? Because atheism, yes, is just a lack of a belief in a God, right? But usually what that entails is that we don't believe in supernatural things. We don't believe in an afterlife for the most part. Some atheists do. I think though when you embrace
They're
that
wrong.
finality of life, some do believe in an afterlife, okay?
No, I'm saying they're wrong.
when you embrace that finality of life, you put this greater like importance and this greater emphasis on living life. So as an atheist, if you're going to go into a place and take someone's life, if you're not actually mentally disturbed, you got to have a really good fucking reason for that, because you know that every thought, every experience, every moment, every connection that this person could have in society with other people, you've just taken it away. I think that's the beauty of the finality of life, is that it also allows us to be more empathetic human beings. And I think that's really what we need to stress. Like, what the fuck is going on in our world where someone actually goes into a place based on something that is basically a right now, which is women's health care. They can get an abortion. It's been legal for a really long time. And go in there and kill people. It's like, is this 2015, man? Or are we still fucking barbarians? Like, what is this bullshit?
I don't know, but we're about to look at some of these particularly deplorable tweets. There's one.
Oh God, the tweets.
I'm sure I'm
more
gonna get really
tweets.
I'm gonna get really pissed off now. I'm pretty sure.
First one up, Ryan. No sympathy for any pregnant female who was injured in the Planned Parenthood shooting that was there to get an abortion. She deserved it.
Why? Ryan,
Apparently
explain.
She deserved it because she was getting an abortion, apparently. Like, that's the primary reason.
how do people, like, how many abortions do people think are happening every day? Like, this is insane. Like,
Okay,
I know a
what's
bunch of,
really
I know a
crazy
bunch of
about it
people that
though?
just swing by Planned Parenthood. Like, they're just like, yeah, there's free condoms there. And it's like, you know what? There are. That's why they provide them, so you can just come by and pick them up.
You know what's crazy about this is that he's saying there's no sympathy for any female who was pregnant, who was injured in the Planned Parenthood shooting, who was there to get an abortion. And this really demonstrates the hypocrisy of their position, because their position is that that fetus is a life, right? That fetus is a human being. So basically what you're saying here, that is, if this woman got killed or injured or shot in the process, she deserved that shit, yo. So basically you're saying, from your position, is that not only is abortion bad, but you think it's okay for the mother to be hurt, injured, or maybe even killed. She
No, but
deserved
you
it. If she
see,
was two
like,
wrongs don't make a right from his position. Okay,
no, you
that's
see,
so hypocritical.
I think I know what the logic is here for a particular group of people. Not blanketing all Christians with this, obviously, but there's a particular group of Christians, or a particular group of people who happen to be Christians, that just think that, oh yeah, the woman, the mother here, she's already foregone the chance of being a believing Christian anymore. Because she has decided to get an abortion, which is abhorrent and you can't possibly do it. But that child could be a Christian. So we gotta save that child to make sure it has a chance of getting into heaven. The mother's gone, so let's try to save the child. So I get the idea, but you know what? The majority of people getting abortions are Christians. Alright? Yeah.
Okay, but that's actually
Ryan.
bullshit as well, because here's the thing, okay? Actually, by getting an abortion, most Christian sects will tell you that any aborted fetus goes to heaven anyway. So actually, if you want to, let's make this fucking argument. I can make the argument that abortion is the best option, because you're not taking a chance by allowing that child to live and potentially go to hell. So that argument is bullshit right there, okay? I needed to point that out.
I know,
Abortion sends
obviously.
babies to God faster, okay? Yes, that's fucking horrible to say, and it's fucking
No, but
terrible.
that
But
no
this is
one
how
they don't
ridiculous
think
their position is.
like this group of people don't think like that. Like they don't actually think out why they're motivated to do a particular thing. It's just being trained continuously that abortion is evil. If anyone agrees with it, then they're evil. It's a particular subset of people, but they're very loud. Basically, if you could reason your way through this, it would have been much easier, and it wouldn't have gotten this bad. People would have just been like, oh, wait, abortions are actually a necessary medical procedure that has to exist in society for us to function? Well, shit. I guess I should amend my beliefs.
I'm
Well,
sorry, but if you have no sympathy for a innocent person that is shot in events like this, okay, the fucking problem is you. Okay, what was his username? Because I'd like to tweet him and explain this to him. That the fucking problem is you, bro. The problem is not the woman who went there for an abortion. The fact that you have no sympathy for an innocent bystander being shot in a terroristic event like this. This demonstrates that the problem is with you. It's not with that woman. It's with you.
I put his Twitter handle in the comments.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go tweet him right now.
Okay.
Sly, sly.
Yeah, Sly flying high. Well, let's see. There's one thing that I want to point out that's connected to what we're talking about here. I've got an image for it, but I'll go ahead and I'll talk about it right now. Did you guys hear about Texas and what is the peculiar thing that's happening in Texas right now?
Does it have to do with STDs?
It has to do with abortion.
Oh,
Amanda B just said, here in Texas, the restrictions on abortions are causing a huge spike in attempts to end pregnancies. Alternatively.
Yes.
why doesn't that surprise
Is that by
me?
huge coincidence what you're about to talk about?
Yes, it is exactly.
What's
Yeah.
up,
Hold
Amanda
on.
B?
Hold on. I've got the I've got my image right here that I made for it. So let me put it in the show real quick. All right, so due to the restrictive legislation passed in the last 5 years in Texas, nearly 250,000 women in Texas have performed self-induced abortions. That is that is the effect of the religious right pushing their deeply held religious beliefs on those that need the services provided. So yeah, it's between 100,000 and 250,000 is basically it, because they can't get too fine of numbers on it. They've left it pretty open, but these remedies that they're going with would include being kicked or severely punched or whatnot in the stomach in order to self-abort. They're going across the border to Mexico to get homeopathic remedies, and they're taking them. And so basically, the religious right in Texas have pushed their deeply held religious beliefs on a population that one, those that voted for it aren't using the services, and two, those that use the services wouldn't have voted for it. So, I mean, how is this good legislation? Like, how could this ever be considered like a positive change? Like, oh, we've passed so many rules and regulations that it's pretty much impossible for you to get an abortion here in Texas. We're so pro-life. But now you're forcing women to get punched in the stomach, basically, in order to self-abort whenever they need to have an abortion because of whatever reason. It's their body. They can make that choice.
I think this is
Like,
just
some of these
absolutely
remedies are,
ridiculous.
like, some of the remedies, though, aren't remedies. Like, they're like a cocktail of abortifacients, or just needles in places needles ought not be.
I mean,
Like,
my mother tried to abort me twice with the clothes hanger, right? And she failed miserably. But she had told me, I remember her telling me when I was a kid that she really like messed something up internally, like trying to do this. And this is really sad that nearly 250,000 women. This is in Texas alone. A fucking 250,000, yo. 250,000 women have performed self-induced abortions. This is what you're doing to these women. You're actually making it worse by not giving them the ability to go get an abortion. They could possibly do some real serious damage to themselves. They obviously want the fucking abortion if they're willing to take that risk. Okay, some people have thought this out, right? They don't want to be parents. You know, me and GE have talked about this on the show. Our mothers probably should not have been parents, yo, because they were really fucked up. Abortion probably was the best option. But, you know, we made it. We made it out, but most people don't actually make it out. When you do this to women and you force them to have a child that they don't want, I'm not saying every mother, every parent is going to be like my mother, but when a parent does not want a child and you make them have it, that seriously fucks up the child, man, because I don't know, man. Everybody should not be a parent. GE can probably talk a little more about this, but everybody doesn't want to be one. Everybody shouldn't be one. No one should ever be forced to be one.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I would like to address a particular comment in here. The real sacred, which I don't know if he's a troll or if he's seriously a Christian or whatnot, but he says he lives in Texas, not Texas, and know plenty of women that have had the procedure. Not sure this is fact. Okay, they have passed severe legislation to restrict it to the point where it's almost impossible to get an abortion in Texas. That's not to say that there aren't any abortion clinics in Texas. It's to say that widely throughout the state of Texas, a lot of abortion clinics, or Planned Parenthoods rather, have been shut down because of the fact that these legislations make it impossible for them to operate. And so all you have there, bud, is anecdotal evidence. What we're citing here is a study that was conducted across the entire state of Texas. It's on the Raw story. I don't have the link in the description of this video, but it will be there when I get done streaming. So if you want to, come back and look at it. Or you could just frickin' Google it. You can find it easily. So
Aren't there
sorry.
aren't there only like 6, or has the number been significantly reduced from that? But the last time I saw, there were only 6 abortion clinics in the entire state of Texas. That may or may not have changed since the last time I checked that out.
I don't know, but I mean, if you think about it, 6 clinics like that for the entire state of Texas, that's one of the biggest fucking states in the union.
It's ridiculous, and I mean, okay, it gets even worse. Like in North Carolina, I had a friend who wanted to get an abortion, and the abortion clinic was 6 hours away. That's
No, he says, nope, not believing it, no evidence, just memes. I told you, this is a public study. I don't see how you can say there's no evidence when it's a public study. Yeah, I don't have the fucking study up on the screen. I don't have to put the fucking study up on the screen. You have goddamn fingers. Use them.
yo, just fuck this dude. Don't feed the troll.
I know.
Moving on.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
There's a Planned Parenthood like several miles from like the center of the city I live in. So it's in the city. So yeah.
And that's good.
Having
You live
6
in a
in the
relatively
state of
small
Texas.
state too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, so having 1 in the entire, or 6 in the entire state of Texas is appalling.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy, man.
All right.
Like, I'm almost like getting like giggly about it because it's just like I can't even like what the fuck is happening? This is insane. This is insane. Man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna feed this troll anymore. I'm not gonna ban you.
Hey, he apparently also lived in North Carolina too, so alright, he's definitely trolling now. He's trolling now.
Okay, so Risky's top says Planned Parenthood kills 1 million babies and no one bats an eye. But one brave hero tries to put a stop to that. Everyone loses their minds.
You're not brave.
I think that if you go in and you and you just go in and you kill innocent people, no matter like whether or not they work there, they're innocent people. If you go in there and kill them, you are anything but brave. If anything, I would call you the biggest pussy on earth, because apparently other people having control of their own bodily reproductive systems is so scary to you that you have to go in and kill them. You have to kill them in order to be okay with it. You feel like you're doing a good job by killing other people. How is
We
that?
don't live in some barbaric society where you need to actually take these type of crude actions to enact a change. Okay? If you really thought that Planned Parenthood was killing 1 million babies every year, and you really thought that this was murder and that this was wrong, there are avenues that you can take through the legal system, obviously, because they're doing it. They're finding ways to minimize abortion clinics. They're finding ways to put extra restrictions on them so that they can't even open. The doctors can't even perform an abortion. They've got to have some kind of counseling before they even get one. I mean, that's not brave to me that you go in there and you start shooting innocent people that have nothing to do with that. So yeah, we're going to fucking lose our mind because you're not a hero. You are a terrorist. You are a villain. You are the epitome of evil when you try to enact a social change, whether you're right or wrong. There are correct ways to do this. When you try to enact a social change through violence and murder, that's fucking barbaric, man.
Yeah,
I don't
Dieter just
understand the mentality of these people. Like,
Yeah,
what are...
go ahead.
No, I just don't get it. Like, how do you look at this person and think that they're brave? Like, what does bravery mean to you?
I mean, that's a slap in the face for anyone who ever did some real brave shit. Like going into a burning house and saving a child. Putting your life on the line to fight for freedom so motherfuckers like this can go get a gun and then run into a place and start shooting up people. Like, that's a slap in the face to actual heroism given by people that put their lives on the line to help other people and sacrifice their lives for other people. Like,
And it's like it doesn't even do anything. Like all you did was end the lives of somebody's like parents or siblings or children. That's what you did. You just killed a bunch of people. Like you didn't stop Planned Parenthood. You didn't do anything. Well, your action was worthless, except showing how terrible your ideology is.
Well, Dieter actually just put up, in reference to the Texas thing, there's 36 centers in his state, and Texas is 5.8 times the size of Dieter's state. So, I mean, to think,
Yeah,
I mean,
surprise.
yeah, yeah, and it's deplorable. And but yeah, I don't understand these people at all either. I think we might look at one more tweet.
And we can all just cry for a while.
this is really fucking depressing that people actually think like this, man. They actually think that this guy was a hero by...
See, like, I almost don't believe them. Like, I almost think this is like I'll make it up now, the Twitter effect. Where they think because they have to fit an incredibly eye-catching and provocative thing in, 140 characters, they have to say the most insane thing, and even if it doesn't necessarily go in line with what they believe. Like, I have too much respect for humanity to entertain the idea that these people are actually serious. I wish I could talk to them on an individual level.
I don't know.
I think that you would just walk away severely, like, mad. I mean, I've never really seen you all that mad before, but I can see you getting in a conversation with these people and just walking away like, I've got to punch a wall.
Because you see, most of the arguments I get in, I have facts on my side. So I'll just be like, no, you're wrong. There's nothing to be angry about. You're just a wrong person. Ignorance is not a crime. But when it has to do with something like this, where it's like entirely opinion-based, and the only thing you really can do is whatever evidence you can scrap together to support your side, and all you can really do is just show that you are not afraid, and that your opinion is just as valid as theirs. And more often than not, significantly more. So yeah, I will actually get angry about these kind of subjects. Because,
if you're ever arguing...
like,
If you're ever arguing in defense of abortion, the only argument you need is the bodily autonomy argument. That's it. It completely puts a stop to everything that they have to offer. You just provide them examples of bodily autonomy, okay? But this tweet is just so mind-blowing because they really think that this guy tried to put a stop to it, which is absolutely ridiculous because let's just imagine, okay? We figured out tomorrow that abortion really is murder, and somehow our moral compass is all shifted, and now we think that abortion is wrong. Do you think that a guy going into a random clinic, shooting up people, is really putting a stop to it? No. If you think about all the great people that really changed society for the better, Sylvia Rivera, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, these people were not violent. For the most part, these people were using social events and civil actions to change the world. So it's just so mind-blowing that someone really thinks that this guy going into a clinic, shooting it up, was putting a stop to it. Like they really thought that that's gonna end it.
I hear people occasionally, like, I don't have anything off the top of my head, but people will do like weird strikes, or they'll try to have protests about all these sort of things. And yes, that is what you should do. You should go within your legal rights to try to make change that you want to see. But the changes these people want are on the wrong side of history. Like, they're not going to be able to cancel equality in marriage under the law, and they're not going to stop Planned Parenthood because it's a necessary service. And it doesn't matter if you don't like it. Yeah. By all means, protest. Do whatever you want to try to make it stop, but you're going to lose. All the evidence and social progress is on one side.
Well, I want
They're
to
just
point out.
flailing around at this point.
Yeah, they're definitely in the death throes right now, is what I've always said. I did want to point out a couple comments. Christina or Muscal in the comments says, Lewis, a lot of our hospitals are Catholic and not public or secular. We need Planned Parenthood so women can get the reproductive health taken care of.
I think there are other services that offer similar things, but Planned Parenthood is just better organized and has more services.
Well, yes. I was going to bring up this earlier, and so I'm glad that she actually brought that up. Because here's a pie chart of how Planned Parenthood, or what Planned Parenthood provides and whatnot. So as you can see, STI and STD testing and treatment is about 41% of stuff. Cancer screening and prevention is 10%. Other women's health services 11%. Abortion services is only a mere 3%. And then contraception's 34%. Now, I would like to point out the fact that a lot of hospitals refer people to Planned Parenthood, or when they're overflowing with things, and Planned Parenthood can take care of stuff like cancer screening and prevention, STI and STD testing and treatment, contraception, stuff like that. These are services that they provide, and they're a nonprofit organization. So it's like the hospitals are still giving their patients the treatment they need, but they're not having to use any of their valuable resources in order to do it. I mean, being able to diversify your resources in this way is so smart and valuable to any kind of management system that it's ridiculous to think to shut down a Planned Parenthood or to make it so that Planned Parenthoods can't operate in your state. There's another comment. Hold on, let me find it. Hold on.
I see one comment just now that's kind of depressing. Saw some tweet that said that since protesting didn't work, shooting it up was the only alternative. No, it's not. There's a third option. Growing up and dealing with it.
Yeah. Okay, so Carly Noel in the comments says, Planned Parenthood doesn't kill any babies. It stops fetuses from developing into babies. An egg is not a chicken. And that is pretty... that's a very true statement. They prevent babies from forming, and that's not the same thing as driving a knife through an infant's head, is a lot of them would like to make it out to be. Hold on. Christ Council, boycott Godless Engineer. He doesn't support the First Amendment and will silence you if you do not agree with his ideology. Atheism is the new Christianity. Spread the word.
Christ,
please.
Hey, he's a troll, okay?
Yeah.
He trolls the IG page.
I was gonna say that's actually a pretty good troll. It's not too serious, and you can tell like midway through that he's just being a troll. So I appreciate that kind of trolling.
Wait, can I give a proposal to all of conservative America?
Sure.
Okay, we'll shut down Planned Parenthood if you make universal health care free.
Oh,
snap.
So all the services Planned Parenthood offers will be available at 100% of all hospitals, and it'll be for free, but we won't have Planned Parenthood anymore. All right, okay. Are we cool with this plan?
Yeah, hey, you know what? I might be good for that.
I mean, I'm joking. Obviously, no one would go for that. But the reason I say that is one of the reasons Planned Parenthood is so necessary in so many different communities is because healthcare is freaking expensive. Hell, for a lot of people, like basic screening, let alone contraception, is like a luxury item. That's ridiculous. Everything about that sentence is ridiculous.
Yeah. The next tweet
We need it. Deal with it.
The next tweet here, though, is along the same lines as the last one, but there's something that I want to point out that might anger you guys here on
Why a
Legion.
hero again? Ugh.
Well, this is just to emphasize the fact that they feel that this guy is a hero. But I don't know if you guys know this, but one of the people that were killed, like the other person, the other innocent civilian that was killed, was actually a war vet. She was I'm assuming it was a woman, but apparently she served in the military, and she's since done her tour, gotten out, and so now she's a veteran. And she was killed in the attack. So you're going to sit there and tell me that somebody that served our country to protect our freedoms and whatnot, which I don't know the details of their service, they might not be a hero, but I mean, you're telling me that a guy that goes in and kills innocent people is more of a hero than somebody that joined the army in order to protect our freedoms.
Okay, so first of all,
apparently I'm running for president now. So
Dieter 2016, yo, you will get the whole country moist.
No
Just
thanks,
give us a speech
actually.
every night. Just give us a speech every night. Okay?
I'd really rather not. It seems like a stressful job. I'll do it later. Only in 20 years. Assuming our country's still here.
Let's make it clear that this guy saved no innocent lives. What he did was took innocent lives, okay? There's a way, okay? There's a way if you think that this is wrong. I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but there's a way if you feel that this is wrong, that you can actually save innocent lives, okay? There is a proper process. Welcome to 2015, where we have the First Amendment, we have rights, we have the ability to protest, okay? We have the ability to educate people. If what you think is, if what you believe is what you think to be really true, then you should be able to convince people of this with rational, logical arguments and evidence that supports your position. And that's the way that you go about saving innocent lives. You're never saving anyone's life if you're taking innocent lives, okay? You're dipping in the negative there.
The thing I wanted to just add, apparently I completely forgot. I'm very tired, apparently. Wow. Hello, everyone. I'm Dater Lucum. How are you all this evening? Gee?
Sorry. I'm trying to find the next thing. I think we've pretty much spent the entire time on this. There is one particular person's view that I think we need to highlight here, and that's Ted Cruz.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, this is pretty out there. Like, I don't know how he gets it, but apparently Ted Cruz thinks that the Planned Parenthood shooter was a transgendered leftist activist.
Transgendered leftist activist.
This is the guy that did it.
Is there like a "I am a criminal" filter that all police have on their cameras? Like, I don't get it. Like, I've never seen someone's mugshot that's just like, hey, that looks like a cool guy.
Quick!
I'd
Make your best criminal face.
He really does kind of look surprised that he's even there. Like, what am I doing here?
He looks like he just turned around. It's like, hey, guy with the beard. And he's like, what? What's happening? What am I doing here? Who are you with the camera? Oh, man. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't understand how Cruz is getting that the shooter was a transgendered leftist activist.
Well, clearly we have to skim this article then.
Yeah. Let's see.
Because I'm sure he has some really good reasons.
Right. It says, but Ted Cruz doesn't buy that explanation, or at least he'd like people to stop paying attention to that four-word phrase because it would manipulate his own conservative base. So he offered a different motive for deers or Bambis rampage to reporters in Iowa. He said the media promptly wants to blame him on the pro-life movement when at this point there's very little evidence to indicate that, Cruz said. When a reporter reminded Cruz it has been reported that Bambi made a comment about baby parts while being apprehended, Cruz retorted, it's also been reported that he was registered as an independent and a woman and transgendered leftist activist, if that's what he is. I don't think it's fair to blame.
Wait, you can just register for these things? Like, there's a register's office that you check off. Hello, I am a leftist, also transgendered. Also, I know you could do that.
Well, I like how there's no evidence to say. Let's see, Cruz is basing this characterization on a supposed voter registration form in which Bambi was listed as a woman, whether it's a mistake or Bambi was just messing around or simply not the right form. We don't know, but other evidence indicates that he was transgendered. Okay.
Okay. I mean, if she is, that's fine. Or he is. It could be the other way. Good for them. Still a monster and still needs significant mental help.
Let's say it prefaces this to summarize. There's very little evidence to tie Bambi to any one group, but this is clearly the fault of a transgendered activist, leftist, and by extension, everyone else that falls into those categories. That's actually the composition and division fallacy.
How is activist in there? Like,
he actively went out and shot people.
Well, true, but that means I actively went shopping today. Am I also an activist?
You're an activist for people eating.
I have eaten before.
Can I make a point here? I just want to make the point that it's utterly ridiculous that he's saying that this is a transgender activist. He's obviously has his own agenda, and he's trying to paint this a certain way to negatively reflect on different communities. But let me say that I'll go out and say, okay, it's not impossible for a leftist, liberal, transgender, whatever activist to go shoot up a Planned Parenthood clinic. Not everyone on the left supports abortion. Okay, not everyone on the left is pro-choice. There are people on the left that are pro-life. I have a lot of friends that are pro-life. Doesn't mean they're going to go shoot up a clinic, but when you have someone that is actually mentally disturbed, you don't know what the fuck they're going to do, man. They could literally go shoot up a clinic for no reason at all. It doesn't mean that they wanted to end abortions. They could just go shoot up the clinic. Mentally disturbed. This is what you need to understand by that, is that they're really not thinking correctly. Their brain is not processing information properly. And honestly, anything that they can do is possible to occur. So yes, you could have a transgendered, mentally disturbed, leftist, I don't know what all the other terms were, activists go shoot up a Planned Parenthood clinic. Highly unlikely, but it's possible.
Well, I would really like to point out how Cruz...
he's also white and has a beard. Like, it seems like a lot of those characteristics are kind of incidental.
Well, no, yeah, that's exactly...
No, I mean, that's the important part, is there's actually, like, a causal link one could draw from, like, the pro-life ideology to these particular actions. And he seems to even admit that there is a connection there in some way by saying the baby parts, etc. Now, once we get more information, like interviews happen with this guy by the police, we'll probably get a more clearer picture if that information is released. But right now, it seems like that's the only causal link we have. These other characteristics seem incidental.
Well, yes, that's actually what I really want to point out here, is that what Cruz is doing is he's throwing us a red herring. Because he wants to draw attention away from the fact that he was pro-life, and he wants to focus on things that he disagrees with. Mainly being a leftist, being transgendered, and being, I guess, an activist, and being a lefty, I guess. I don't know. But it's really just a red herring in general for him to throw this out there. Because whether or not this guy was a transgendered person doesn't have any effect on the fact that he went into a Planned Parenthood, killed a bunch of people, killed 3 people, for the purposes of advancing the whole pro-life or to stop Planned Parenthood, supposedly, kind of like how Luke Skywalker destroyed the Death Star. He thought that he'd go in there and shoot a few people, and it would just destroy the entire network of Planned Parenthood.
We've got Laura in the comments. She said, I read that he was a loner who spent a lot of time in his cabin in the woods.
That sounds a lot like
It's entirely
else.
possible.
Who's that? Who was that guy that went around? He lived in the woods. He's a survivalist guy, and he bombed a whole bunch of abortion clinics. Crap.
Wait, is there an association with the woods and wanting to kill abortion clinic doctors? I really don't understand that connection.
I just want to know, like, where you go wrong in your life, and you're like, hey, my main goal in life now is to bomb abortion clinics. Like,
what clicks in your brain that it's just like, you know what the best choice of action for the best direction for my life right now? Like, damn.
I'm just gonna bomb
abortion on this show, we a lot of the time on this show, we kind of give the benefit of the doubt or some other turn of phrase to people that commit crimes. But it's kind of like, this guy just needs some help. Damn.
Well, I do. The Unabomber. Yes, the Unabomber. I can't remember what his actual name was.
I remember he wore a sweatshirt and sunglasses.
Anyways, if you know the Unabomber's
like
actual
80%
name,
of young men look like him or something.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ted Kaczynski. That's right, Ted Kaczynski. He
Stop making him famous.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it happened like when I was 5 years old. So, let's see.
Yo.
What?
Fuck this guy, yo.
Oh, I agree. Deplorable actions from a
I'm getting really
pretty
sick. Like, I'm tired of seeing this motherfucker's face on my screen.
Right. Okay.
Well, he'll be there the next time you close your eyes.
Well,
why did you just put that in my head, Dieter? Why did you just do that? You know the subconscious is powerful. Now I'm gonna have some nasty ass dreams tonight.
Now everyone has to close their eyes and imagine just seeing his face slowly pan towards you while Pagliacci is singing in the background. Now we will all sleep easy tonight.
No.
Oh man, I will not be sleeping easy. Okay, so
somebody make like a gif of that and I'll be so happy.
Okay, so we're nearing the end of the show tonight. We usually try to keep this to about an hour and a half at max. So one thing that we haven't done yet, though, even though we spent the entire time on Planned Parenthood pretty much, which I think it was much needed subject to be discussed, we have our last segment. Aeolus, do you want to introduce it?
It's time for my favorite segment of Reason. Hypocrite of the week! Woo! This week's hypocrite of the week is going to a pastor. He's been double charged with murder. Is that right? Is it murder
yes.
he's charged? Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get this guy.
Right. He is A.B. Shermer. Something, sex-addicted pastor who killed 2 Pennsylvania wives, probed by Dateline NBC tonight.
Wait, so it says like church wives? Does that mean they're just wives that go to church, or is church wife a term I'm not familiar with?
I have no idea. Let's see.
Church.
The disgraced pastor who was accused of killing his 2 of his church wives. I'm wondering if maybe he was polygamous, and he had multiple wives, but they weren't like official wives. They were just like they did the ceremony in the church to marry them, but they're not like officially like wives or anything like that. You know what I mean? I think that might be what church wives are.
Well, it says in the middle of the article, but when a man in Shermer's congregation committed suicide, it prompted an investigation into Shermer's double life that included multiple affairs, sexual addiction, and murder. Well, shit.
What about that moral high
What
ground,
used to
yo?
be a delightful story of a polyamorous guy in a church has now become horrific murder. That's what happens when you actually read the article.
Yeah. According to Dateline NBC, people who knew Pastor A.B. Shermer described him as a comforting man who knew how to shepherd his flock. That's kind of a red flag at first. I mean, if he knows how to shepherd his flock, he seemingly.
Oh God, he's going to be eating them and wearing their skin.
Yeah, he will. His seemingly soothing spirit made people feel good. The eloquent Methodist preacher officiated many weddings and attended to the needs of those low in spirit. I'm sure he did. No one could have imagined that deep down Shermer had a dark past and a deep obsession that would ruin the lives of many. One life that he ruined was Joe Masante, a member of the congregation who was found dead at the Methodist Church in Readers, Pennsylvania. When officers arrived that day in 2008, they found Masante had shot himself in the head while sitting in A.B. Shermer's chair.
Bro, this is a really long article, and it doesn't get to the action for a while.
Yeah. Basically, though, this guy is supposed to be a Christian. Oh, hey, look. Here's a video. I'm not set up to play the video so everybody can hear it. So I'm not going to do that. But definitely check out this article. It'll be linked afterwards.
The idea is he said that his two wives, his first wife and his second wife, died under weird circumstances. One was like a car crash, and the other one was a fall down a staircase. And people were after like this suicide of a person in their church. There was a big investigation that led to the Shermer guy, and it's like, yep, as a matter of fact, he murdered his wives.
Yeah,
crazy.
This in reference to how generally Christians act, like whenever they come to my page or anything like that. They like to stand on this moral high ground that you have to believe in God in order to be a good person or to have morality in general. And I find it hilarious because it takes like no time to find multiple religious people that have no morality. It seems not just that they're sociopathic or something like that, but they actively don't have like a sense of morality like these religious people purport that you have as soon as you start sucking the dick of Jesus. So
it's almost like people that commit horrible crimes are just a hair's throw away from the rest of us.
This is the thing, okay? Like I feel like I don't always want to blame the religion, right? I don't think that it's always the religion. I know a lot of religious people that are fucking great people, but I think that what's happening here is that we've seen how Christians have had this opportunity to capitalize on morality, and when they speak about morality, they speak about good Christian values. And if you really get to the bottom of that and you ask them, like, well, what is a good Christian value? And they're like, honesty, truth, reliability. And I'm like, dude, that's just good values in general. That's not good Christian values. And I think that they've sort of hijacked this morality. They've hijacked this morality in such an extreme way that when we see pastors or people who are supposed to be more representatives in their community doing things like this, sometimes we get really flabbergasted, but it shouldn't really be that surprising to us if we understand that there are good people, there are bad people, and that religion is just a vehicle that both groups of people use. So,
True.
Oh my God, the trolls are going. How many trolls do we fucking have in the comments section tonight, yo?
One troll begets multiple trolls.
Apparently, I don't know how close I get to the camera.
Don't tell me you fed them after midnight.
Okay, so I gotta. All right, so I think that it's pretty blatant that this guy is is a troll, or not a troll, but is the hypocrite of the week. So Dieter, do you want to go ahead and stamp this guy?
Yep.
All right.
For committing horrible crimes, etc., etc.
Yeah,
I'm not even naming the crime. I don't even want to fucking name the crimes right now. It's terrible.
It was double murder, Aeolus. He killed his wives and then lied about it.
I know what it was. I sent GE this link. It's disgusting, man.
So for double murder and lying about it for apparently almost a decade, and still trying to claim the moral high ground, hypocrite of the week.
Boom. Hypocrite of the week.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is our show
That
for this
week.
week.
Was weak. I'm hilarious.
Well, that's our show for this week. We appreciate everybody stopping by. I hope that you will give this channel a like, Godless Engineer. I post daily content. If you will, go and subscribe to God Works Out as well as Dieter Lucum. Their links are down in the description below. You know, Dieter makes videos about Joshua Feuerstein. That's all he does ever.
It's literally...
That's really all he does.
It's slightly over 10% of my content.
Yo, let me be clear here. Don't subscribe to me, okay? Subscribing to me comes with a boatload of sexual frustration because you have to look at my sexy ass body while I make these videos, okay? So don't subscribe to my channel. Hopefully the reverse psychology works.
It is super distracting.
Yeah. It's good to see everybody in the comments. You know, Chris, Time for Pancakes, Christina, Caitlin, Michael Allen, Lewis Rees, Chris Cowhig, all of you guys, Laura Curry. There's a lot of people that I didn't mention. Christ Council, I don't know exactly if you're...
Let's just name all of them so they never come back.
Yeah, exactly. But we appreciate you guys being here. Join us in another couple weeks when we will have another reason. And I guess I'll see you guys next time.
May reason forever outweigh religious stupidity.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah, Dieter, say something about Feuerstein.
No.
Peace.
See you guys later.